let's talk Champions League football. We got Dortmund coming up. Dortmund right now are sitting fourth in the Champions League table, just behind Barcelona, level on points, but I think we got them beat on goal differential. Yeah, we're plus 13, they're plus 10. Both clubs have won 4 out of 5. How are we feeling going into this one?
I kind of almost forgot that we had to face them. But it's a nice test. I think it's a very nice test at a good stage of the season to see where we're actually at. I think that certainly will come and we can see where we are at. I think it's a good opponent. They're in between they're in the top 8. So yeah, let's bring it. And it's a tough stadium to go. Let's go and see how we get this. They managed to draw against Bayern Munich, which is a surprise, I guess. Yeah, bring them on. I think it's a good test. That's what I really think about it right now, and I'm excited to see whether we can get something out of it.
Yeah, I think Dortmund are one of the clubs that's going to drop in the Champions League table. If you look at their opponents, they won 3-0 against Club Brugge, 7-1 against Celtic, lost 5-2 against Real Madrid. I think that's the most telling because that's the toughest opponent that they had. 1-0 over Sturm Graz and then 3-0 over Dynamo Zagreb. So their wins weren't really against big teams, which does give me a little bit of hope. Pablo, how are you feeling going into this one?
Yeah, I always think that they're a little bit of the. I'm not going to say. I was going to call them the German Tottenham Hotspur, but that is a little bit harsh, actually. But they're not quite like that. But in the fact that I always think you should be beating them because I think they'll give you chances, and I don't think they're a winning club. Borussia Dortmund, like the 2-0 up against Real Madrid, they are the epitome of them going on to lose that game 5-2 by naivety, by cowardly changes, whatever it was. They're the epitome of that, in my opinion. But I think on their day, they can be really good, just like Spurs, and really hurt you. And I think Barca are going to have a really tough time on Wednesday night, by the way. I would not be surprised if we don't win this game. I think this has got for me a draw written all over it, actually, this game. It really does, which I'm okay with Champions League group-wise. I'm actually more bothered about beating Leganés and certainly Atletico Madrid than I am Borussia Dortmund right now, with all things considered.
Yep.
There are still games to go in the Champions League, but I mean, how many we played? 5, is it, John? Yeah? 3 to go. 3 quite tough ones, I will say. So if we beat Dortmund, we are in a wonderful spot, by the way, for the next round, which is great. But for me, a draw is a good result, and I think it's going to be a proper test. I think we're all a bit scarred away from home in Europe. I know I am. I don't know. I just feel like teams with a big atmosphere. I just go there and I'm like, I don't like it. So I would love to see a proper performance. Yeah, and that was a typical us away from home, wasn't it? That was 0-0 to Stegen saved a Roy's penalty in that one, but we weren't very good. Like we were just like meh, as always, you know.
We do have
I think.
Go ahead, Buga.
I think Pablo is right. Very three difficult games in the Champions League at the moment, and I think that we can. This is actually a very important part of the season because we need to come out of it showing that this is where. It is gonna sound so cringe. This is where champions are made. You know, this is where we see which team actually gets those points. You know, if you can, for instance, today Arsenal had to beat Fulham, Liverpool had to beat Newcastle. You know, those games where it's not about the toughest opposition, it's not the biggest clashes, but Barcelona had to beat Real Betis if you really wanna be in the champions. You know, or at the end of the day, you have to beat Leganés, you have to beat Atletico Madrid, you have to beat these teams in the Champions League. You have not to lose. You cannot lose against Dortmund, Benfica, and Atalanta. You know, it's like Barcelona could easily drop out of the top 8 by the end of these 3 games if we are not careful. You know.
Yeah.
So
we do have a tricky run.
So Barcelona needs to be very careful and needs to come out of these wins. It doesn't matter that we play good football, and that's where I'm hoping like Flick understands. We just need to win. These are the moments where you just need to win. I don't care how, but just win.
Yeah.
Get Ernesto Valverde on a loan.
I think Flick knows that and is prioritizing, at least for these next 2 matches, I think was prioritizing the Champions League fixture.
Yeah.
You saw Rafinha and Olmo come off right around the 60th minute. That's not typical whatsoever, particularly for Rafinha, who could run 90 minutes plus multiple times a week. So I think we're going to see the strongest 11 that Flick can put out versus Dortmund.
Yeah.
Maybe a little bit of rotation against Leganes so that we have, again, a fully fit starting 11 strong team versus Atletico Madrid the following week.
I mean, he does know Dortmund more than us, so he probably
This is
has
true.
a lot of respect for them.
This is true. Yeah. Shall we just kind of quickly piece together a starting 11 then?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Pena between the posts. Yes, all agreed?
Sir.
Okay. Back four shouldn't change. Balde, Inigo, Kubarsi, Kunde, or are we going to see Gerard Martin? That I think is the only question for me.
No.
I'd go Balde, but Hansi's a big
Balde, of course,
Martin fan. We're going Balde?
Yeah,
okay.
Of course, yeah.
Midfield three.
Yeah.
Pedri, Casado, and who?
Dani Olmo. I think it's simple.
I think we go unchanged, but I think it's weird to go unchanged after, for me, what was a really disappointing performance away to Betis. I don't think Barca were good, and I think to then play Dortmund away, it's weird to play unchanged. But I think when we look over the lineup, and Hansi will do the same when he looks over the lineup, I think with his coaching staff, he'll think, who do we change here? And I think they'll be left with the answer of no one.
Yeah. I'm with you on that. And maybe there's something to Dani Olmo playing in Bundesliga the last few years that
I'm
will give him a competitive edge against Dortmund.
So. But I mean, the obvious ones, De Jong, who I don't think will play now, but that midfield could be mixed up with De Jong going in there. Fermin, I think, hasn't played in a while. Could he take Olmo's spot? I would usually say yes. Like if we were playing Atalanta, I'd say maybe Fermin starts, but I just think Olmo has that. Maybe the European class and against a Bundesliga team as well. And Ferran, obviously, after his 2 goals, but that front three in a big European game, I think you've got to keep it the same. So I think we see an unchanged team, which, as I say, is strange after the lackluster performance.
Yeah. Bro, I'm with you on that. Different opponent, different environment, different circumstance.
Yeah.
But yeah, probably same team. So Rafinha, Lewandowski, Lamine finishing us off there.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Round of predictions then. This is happening. This is a Wednesday match, right? Yeah, this is happening on Wednesday. Barcelona traveling to Dortmund. What are we thinking, boys? What's the scoreline going to be?
I've got mine.
Hit us with it, Papa Pablo.
I'm going to go for 1-1.
Ooh.
I'm going to go for... I'm going to go 0-0.
Look at these predictions.
Has Barcelona been
1-1 and 0-0 is mad.
Oh yeah, against Sociedad. I was about to say, have we been shut out yet this season? But Sociedad, we just lost 1-0. That might have been our only shutout so far. The only match that we didn't score in. I'm scrolling through the results here. I think, yeah, that is accurate. So there's only been one match where we haven't scored. I'm gonna say 2-1 to the good guys. Barcelona coming away with a victory in this one.
I was expecting for you to say Dortmund out of nowhere.
I'm going to say 2-1 Barcelona. I'm going to say goals from Rafinha and Lewandowski. Easy peasy. Exactly what we would expect. Dortmund will give us a scare. Maybe they even score first. But Barcelona come away with a 2-1 victory here in this one. Stay close to the top of the table there in Champions League. Lock it in.